Let's go over some examples of how to calculate the slope. So if you didn't catch the steps from my last lesson video, here they are. They're probably a good thing to have written down in your notes until you've got them memorized. So first step is to identify 2 points on your line. And you want to choose points that are right at the intersection of grid lines, because then it's easier to count distances, right? So these 2 points look like they'll work really well. The second step is to connect the points by drawing a triangle between them. So we want to draw a right triangle, so we're going to draw straight lines. Okay, so now I've got a triangle drawn on there. The third step is to count the rise of my triangle, so that's how far up or down my line is, and the run is how far left or right my horizontal line is of my triangle. So we start at one point. It doesn't matter which point you start at, and I usually like to choose whichever point's towards the bottom. So I'm going to choose to start here, and we rise 1, 2, and then we run to the right, so this direction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the rise over run fraction, the rise was 2, the run is 5. So the slope of this line is 2/5. And notice the slope is positive, and that makes sense because my line is going uphill. So this line has a positive slope. Let's do another example. Okay, this line, first step, we're going to choose 2 points. So here's a good point to work with, and here's a good point to work with. Now remember from the last lesson video, it doesn't matter the points that you draw or choose, or the triangle that you draw, you'll get the same ratio no matter what. Second step is to draw the triangle that connects them. Now third step is to count the rise and the run of the triangle. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. Notice we start at the bottom point just because I think it's easier to start at the one that's most towards the bottom, and we go up 2. Now once we reach this point, the run, notice we're counting to the left, and to the left means we're going in the negative x direction. So that means this is a -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So in my slope equation, the rise is 2 and the run is -5. So the slope of this line is -2/5. And that negative sign out in front makes sense because I can see that this line is going downhill. And I know that lines going downhill should have a negative slope. So that's a good way to just to double check that you've got the right sign with your answer. Okay, let's do another one. Here's the steps. Identify 2 points on the line. Here's a good point, and how about this one right here? Okay, draw the 2 points with a triangle connecting them, and then count the rise and the run. So starting at the bottom point, the rise, we're going up, so it's +1, 2, 3, 4. And then to the left, we go -1, -2, -3. So we were counting backwards, so that means it was -3. So the rise over the run, rise was 4, run is -3. So my slope is -4/3. And once again, that negative sign out in front makes sense because my line is going downhill, so it should have a negative slope. Last example, we don't have the steps written down, so hopefully you've started to get them memorized. And let's start. We start with the 2 points. These ones are as good as any. Draw the triangle that connects them and count the rise. So our rise, we're going up. So up is positive. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go to the right 1, and we're going to the right, so that's positive. So our rise is 4, run is 1. So this simplifies to be just 4. And that's a positive slope, which is good because my line is going uphill, meaning it should be positive. Okay, one last lesson video and then you can move on to your assignment.